You may be able to beat a charge of negligent driving occasioning death if, firstly, there is insufficient evidence to prove that you are negligent. Now, police must prove beyond reasonable doubt that you were driving in a manner that was less than to be expected of a reasonable driver at the time. And this often requires proof that you were at fault in an accident or that you were otherwise doing something wrong at the time. For example, you were on the phone and distracted, you are not using your indicators, you're not keeping a proper lookout for vehicles or people around you. If there is not enough evidence to prove that you're negligent, that is, at fault or doing something wrong at the time, then your lawyer should write to the prosecution and ask for the case to be dropped. If the prosecution refuses, then your lawyer should fight to have the charge thrown out of court. The second way that your lawyer can fight for you is if there is not enough evidence to prove that the death was caused by your driving. If this is the case, and if negligence is proved, then your lawyer should write to the prosecution and ask for the charge to be downgraded to negligent driving not occasioning grievous bodily harm or death, i.e. negligent driving simplicitor. This is far less serious. If police refuse to do so and the case goes all the way to a defendant hearing, then it is possible that you can be found not guilty of negligent driving occasioning death and found guilty of negligent driving instead, which again is much less serious and carries far less penalties. The third way to beat the charge is if you have a specific defence. The first such defence is called duress, and that's where you're coerced or threatened into driving negligently. The second is called necessity. This is where you drove negligently to avoid serious injury or death. For example, if you were driving someone to the hospital in an emergency situation. The third is called honest and reasonable mistake of fact. And this is where you honestly believed that you're obeying the road rules or the speed limit, you're driving properly, and that belief was reasonable in all of the circumstances.